Pastor Barry here. If everybody could give him a round of applause from Shelters by Jesus.
Well, it's awesome to be back. It's an honor to be back. I love coming here. It's like going to family. A whole lot has happened, and we'll start off. I'm going to share a little bit of the word with you. Then I'll share a bunch of stuff that's going on. I'll take questions. We'll do questions and answers. Have I been here since I had my last heart thing? Yes, no, I got both. I wasn't. Okay, at least I understand that now. Whatever. So I'll skip that. Let's have a word of prayer. Let's see what Dad's got to say this morning. I want to hear it myself. So. Dad, thank you so much for your blessings. Thank you for the chance to be with your people. Just asking you to bless this church. You're going to speak to them with Acts 2 power like you did, Lord, when you took guys that were unlearned, but they had a message that was mighty because it was your message. You spoke through them. Even bewildered them. And that's what we look for today. So we ask for that. We thank you for this time of music we had and the great job Melanie does. And Lord, to prepare everybody's hearts to hear the word. So now, Lord, we just pray you'll speak and use me in a way that they'll say, I heard Jesus today, not a dumb old man. In your name, Lord. Amen. Well, I want to start with a little bit of the Word of God. You can see I brought all my notes with me. So, anyway, this is in Matthew chapter 9. I'm going to start at verse 35. Just prior to this, Jesus go along, and he just raised the dead. So, some people are crying and wailing, and they think, cool it, dude. All right? That's a paraphrase. And anyway, he raised them up. So they come, they were blind, he healed them, they were lame, he healed them, they had demons, he healed them. And the disciples are following him all around all this time, they're seeing all of this stuff. And that is the setting before we go into chapter 9, the very end of it, and verse 35. And I'll have this be very brief. Jesus went through all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom and healing every disease and sickness, plus raising the dead. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless. I see that when I'm with my people and on the streets. It's unbelievable. Like sheep without a shepherd, no direction. Then he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out workers into his harvest. Now, when he talks about that, just get on saying he has compassion. If you can see that in the Greek, that's a very strong word. Man, his heart was really touched by what he saw. He looked at me and said, these guys are just wandering around like sheep with nobody to take care of them, nobody to look after them. And a lot of them didn't even know that. Then he says, we need more people to go out into the field. There's a lot of people who want to be my disciples. They want to follow me around, but they don't want to do what they need to do. Now, a lot of them use this for going out and they passed out tracts. That's not what he's talking about. He just raised the dead, and he just said he healed the sicknesses, and he had compassion. That's what we need to go with. Compassion. You can hand out a tract, but if it's not backed up with compassion, it means nothing. We go out on the street, we go to the homeless. If we're just passing out tracts, we just see them do this. I'm hungry, I don't need a piece of paper. Can't talk about Jesus to people that are hurting. They need to take care of that, and then they go, why? You go, because of Jesus. That's what we need. We need them filtered all over the place. Right now, we're in a real battle with the town because we're working with homeless. They don't want homeless. And every time I look at these people that we have there, I see them like sheep without a shepherd. They come in, they have no idea where they're going. Most of them never went to a church. Most of them never been invited to a church. And one of the reasons is I saw a thing the other day where a guy was interviewed who's homeless, says, where do you sleep at night? I said, I sleep on the steps of a church. I can't go in, but they let me sleep on the steps. Somebody didn't read the compassion part. If you know Jesus and he's sending you out, you've got to look at people in a way and go, I hurt for them. That's what that compassion meant. Jesus hurt for them in here. And he did something. He didn't just feel it, he healed them. He did what he could do. Now, you're not going to walk down the streets and heal people. You might, I don't know, I don't think so. But you do with compassion when it fits your role. How does compassion fit with you? We're trying to show it to homeless people. Now, when we have a service, I have a packed house for my service. There may be 4 or 5 that don't live there. I look out and I saw what he saw. I see all kinds of people like sheep without a shepherd. And the town, they want them scattered like a bunch of sheep out of there. So right now we're going to court on the 18th of September because we've been served by the town through the court system. The town told us last December to get out, and I said no. They sent us about 1 million letters. Our wastebasket's getting full of them. Well, we said no. And said, you know, I will respect the law and the authorities. If a judge tells me we got to put people out, we'll do that. But I'll tell you, we have a backup plan too. But I'm not going to do it for the town. They don't have that authority. They really don't. Because I'm still in the church with my people. If they had the authority, I wouldn't be there. They can't toss them out. But we're going on the 18th, and we're going to go with the idea, like in Ohio, there's a place called Dad's Place. And they're in the same position we are. They had people living in their church. And they commanded the town in and said, you got to sprinkle, you got to follow the codes. And they go, no. You got to kick people out. They go, no. They took it to the Ohio State Supreme Court, and they won. And, yeah. And what they won on, the Supreme Court of Ohio said, what you're doing is unconstitutional. There is a separation of church and state. There is a freedom of religion in this country where a church is not governed by the town or the state or federal. They are separate. And they don't have to sprinkle. They don't have to do anything. You can't go in and tell them about codes because they're a church. And so we have that precedent that we're going to go with. We are a church. We're going to stand on the freedom of church. If I have to, I'm willing to fight them right to the state Supreme Court. I will not put people out. I've told them that. I'm not the most popular guy in Skowhegan, outside of the homeless, the ones that love them. If we have to put them out, right now we're in the process of doing a building project. And I went to a town meeting. They thought they stopped me because they come up with a new ordinance just for me. I'm so important, I have a Pastorberry ordinance practically in Skowhegan. And it says that I can't, that if you have there's a homeless shelter here, you can't build another one within 1,000 feet. Because they knew I was working on my blueprints to ask for a permit to build one on our property, which is 329 feet from where the one is. So they come up with an ordinance and voted it in. So I can't build there, so we had to scrap our whole thing we had. And I come home and go, okay, Lord, what do we do now? Well, I walked out behind our men's shelter. We have distance out there to add on, so we're going to do a 36 by 36 addition to the men's shelter, which is already coded, which isn't a new building. It's an addition to an existing coded building. And if they do an ordinance on that, then nobody in Skowhegan can build into their buildings. So they're not going to be able to stop me. So right now we're in the process. Hope to have a permit before I go to court on the 18th. And then we'll break ground and we'll start building. So it'll be big enough to have, we'll have 6 rooms upstairs for families, be 10 by 15 foot rooms. Then downstairs be an open area for the ladies, the single ladies. So there'll be a dorm downstairs, and then upstairs we'll have bathrooms and showers downstairs. Now, since it's connected to that, our sprinkler systems, we can tap in, just keep coming across. It's the same building. We're attached. Our heating will come across. Our electrical is already in place. Everything's in place. It's going to cost me probably less than a third of what I would have done in the other project. What they meant for evil, God meant for good. So we're winning that one, I think, but we'll be keeping you addressed to that as we go ahead. We're going to be in Waterville, Maine next Saturday, the 15th, when you ladies are meeting here. We're going to be meeting in Waterville, Maine, at the 2 Cent Bridge ahead of Falls Park, whatever it's called. Goes by two different names. Last time we was there, we did over 100 people. So we're going back again. We just come out of Portland. I'll tell you a story about that one. That was weird. So anyway, we're setting up there. We're doing food, clothes. We do showers now, portable showers. And you ought to see the face of people that go in the shower and come out with clean clothes. You think we just give a whole $1 million. They're blown away that we have the showers and the clothes. Was in Portland a few weeks ago, and right by the shelter itself, the state-run shelter, was in their area, because there's people living in the woods that aren't in there, can't get in, so we had a line. I don't know how big the line was. And I used to be a kid, when I was a kid, I used to go drive-in theater. We were way down the road waiting to get into the drive-in. That's all I could think of. They were just lined up, coming. And they just kept coming. And we do cheeseburgers and hot dogs, and we do donuts and coffee, and we do all kinds of snacks. And then, anyway, we have all kinds of stuff to give away. Well, anyway, we're off, we're cooking, and all of a sudden, two ladies come from the shelter, walk up to me, and they had their little name tags, and they said, "We need to talk with you." "Sure, you're from the shelter, you must be on my side. You know, I'm feeding the people." She says, "I was told by my boss to come and tell you, you need to shut this down." I said, "Come again?" She said, "You can't be cooking on here." I said, "We was here last year cooking. And everybody was all happy with it. What happened?" "Well, you just can't do it. You have a flame in there." It's in a barbecue grill with a cover on tar. What is it going to hurt? So she said, "Well, you have to," I said, "No." And they looked at me like I had two heads. I go, "No?" I said, "No, why are you shutting down? This whole line, they're waiting to get fed. I'm not going to turn them away. They're waiting for clothes and all that. We can give them some clothes, we can't feed them." I said, "I'm feeding them. Go back and tell your boss." Well, about 15 minutes later, the PD drove up, and a young officer come to see me. Not unexpected, by the way. He said, "You're the gentleman that's running this, right?" I said, "I am, sir. What can I do for you?" "Well," he said, "I got a complaint from the guys at the shelter." I said, "Yeah, I figured that. They were already been here." He said, "I told them I've already drove by and checked this out. I told them, leave me alone. You're doing fine." I said, "Well, thank you, because we plan on coming back and doing it again." He said, "You guys don't even worry about it. I already told them, don't bother calling the PD. You're doing nothing wrong." He said, "We're just going to swing by and make sure you're okay. Nobody bothers you. That's all. That's okay." I said, "Hey, have a hamburger, baby. Have a hamburger." So also, we pass out tons of clothes. And we always think we've got enough. Well, this time, the numbers were so astronomical, they were taking so many clothes. We got down to near the end, was most of the time to go, and a guy shows up, he's about my size, and he had a pair of pants on. They were torn from the belt down to his ankle, and he had some tape running to hold them together, but I mean, he was kind of open to the weather, walking around, and he was looking. He said, "You got any pants?" He said, "People are walking by me wherever I am, and they're pointing at me and picking on me and telling me to get something on, get myself covered up." He said, "I would, but I got nothing to put on." I said, "This is all we got left. There's a couple ladies' pants." That ain't going to happen again, by the way. We'll take more close, but I looked at him, I said, "What size are you?" He told me, and I go, "Of course you are." "All right, I'll be right back." So I went around my truck, took my pants off, gave him my pants, fit him to a T. He went away, put them on, come back, and he goes, I got him on a video. He says, "I cannot believe what you just did." He said, "I've heard people say they take the shirt off their back. I've never had one take the pants off their butt." So now there's a new song out. The one, "I left my heart in San Francisco." Now it's, "I left my pants in Portland, Maine." That's a true story. I'm taking them extra clothes my size the next trip we go, I can tell you right now. But when I look at these people, we have compassion. That's what it is. So I said, I don't have a lot of compassionate workers. They work for, as long as it doesn't take anything. Compassion means going beyond. Sometimes giving when you don't feel like giving. That's when you look at that person and say, you're more important than I am today. That's what Jesus did. So he was the first Jew to reach out and touch a leper, because it was against the Old Testament laws, and he gave the laws. So, but he actually put his hands on a leper, didn't just heal him, but he touched him out of compassion, because he knew how that leper was going to feel when he felt a human touch that he hadn't felt since he got his disease. It wasn't also disease. You know, there's a song, it's an old song, been out quite a while, I guess. I didn't remember when that come out. I'm old myself, so I don't. But the song goes, he touched me. Very touching song. And that's what it's all about. That's what we're trying to do with the hurting. Trying to touch them. If it means taking your pants off. The guys who were with me, the crews who were with me, they took the laugh in their heads off and came down and go, only you do that, Pastor. I said, I hope that's not true. And so people heard about it, and they called me and told me, they said, I heard you took your pants off and gave them to somebody. Yeah. My response to them, they said, was, yeah, that's just him. I said, we're not even blown away. My mom, they told her, they said, you know your son drove home without his pants on? She said, I just wish he'd be in Richard. I said, I can't impress him if I give him my clothes, but that's the heart Jesus wants us to have. That's why right now I will fight the town with my last breath before I will put the people out. Now, if we do, if they say they got to go out until we can build, we're going to put tents up right beside Route 2 where we are, right on the front lawn, and we're going to move the men into the tents. They'll sleep at night. They come into church days because they're allowed in because you can't have beds in there. So we'll put them in those tents, and I'll blurb it every stinking day and show the church they could be in and show where they are every day. But they'll be okay. They'll still be fed and clothed and housed. We'll get the heavy-duty tents like the Army uses and all of that. If we goes in the winter, we'll find a way to heat them. We'll put the families in the men's shelter that's coated, women and the kids and all of that. We will not be defeated. I preached a message last week called It's Just a Detour. And Paul tried to get to Thessalonica a bunch of times, and they all said, where are you, Paul? And he says, I'm trying, but Satan keeps blocking me. Well, God could have took away the blocks. He didn't. He allowed him there for a reason. He wanted Paul to go to another place and do something else. Paul ended up saying that, basically. So I want to tell you this morning, if you're running into something today as a church, you're trying to do it, you go, there's a block in front, there's a wall. Don't look at it as a wall, look at it as a detour. But he's trying to move you to something else. When you have success at it, you know you're where he wants you to be. When you start feeling at it, you go, maybe this isn't what he wants me doing. Look where he wants you to go. If he's in it, you'll have success. Right now, the town's throwing a detour at me. That's all. And hopefully I'll have my permits to take before the judge, and the judge will look at them and call them a bunch of idiots. That's what I'm hoping. If he doesn't, we'll appeal, keep on going, get our permits, get our addition on, and by the time the appeals are all done, even before that, we can drop it because we'll already be in the new building. They will lose because they're not fighting a 77-year-old man from Skowhegan. They're fighting the invisible, powerful God of the universe. That's who they're fighting. That's who they're taking on. And they will lose. I promise you they'll lose. And they're going to look pretty stupid. The other thing happens is, why this may be all about, is if we do win, like they did in Ohio, that means any church in the state of Maine has a constitutional right to allow people to stay in their church without codes. No sprinklers, no nothing. Because they have separation. So we may be winning a victory for the state of Maine, not just for my little ministry down in Skowhegan. That may be what this is all about. God's got a plan bigger than I do. And that seems to be the direction it's going. All right, you heard my story. I left my pants in Portland, Maine. That's my theme when I'm here. So if you go with me, take an extra pair of pants because it ain't pretty when you leave without them. I don't recommend it. All right. Comments, questions, whatever you got. I'm up here to do it. And when you stop, I'm going to go find something to eat because I'm already hungry. All right? Hey, I'm old, I'm fat, I get hungry. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of fuel to keep this fire burning, baby. It looks a lot like a big steak to me, too. That's what it looks like. All right. Yes, ma'am. 100% faith-based donations. No outside monies at all. And I don't have any because I have anybody in my church. I only have homeless people. We can pass the plate, but it comes back the way we sent it. Yeah, we have a contract with Good Shepherd. We don't buy food from them, but that allows us, Hannaford and Walmart, we get loads a couple times a day, every day, 7 days a week. And so we feed also over 200 families in 3 communities, as well as feeding these guys every day. The clothes is all donations. We give out over 500 pieces of clothes to the community, not counting our people, every month. So we do about 5,000, 6,000 pieces of clothes a year, besides the food, without any money, without any budget. Fat man. We got fat friends. They're my people, baby. Our people. Yeah. Don't send your pastor and he'll come back without his pants because he's just the right size. It won't be pretty. You think I'm kidding? That's a great part. I'm serious, man. I love this ministry. I love it. I've never been so excited about ministry in my life. I figured by the time I reached 77, I would be sitting back in my easy chair. I'm working harder now than I did when I was 17, let alone 77, and love it every day. Every day. That was a good question. That was an awesome question. Anybody else have a question? The other thing is book 6 is due out any day, too. It's at the printers. I'm waiting for an answer. We get our first shipment. I'll get that up to you if you want it. That's all about the encampments. Book 6 is 100% encampments. Just to let you know. All right. Anybody have a comment or a question? Yes. We can go and buy it, we don't. The food bank don't give away squat. You have to buy from the food bank. Well, that is right. Yeah. You go to check them out, you better bring a check with you when you go. No, we get ours, at Hannaford and Walmart. It's near the end, it's not bad, and it doesn't last long enough to get bad. It about hits us and it's gone. And we have families lined right up. We do it 3 times a week, and the parking lot's full of people waiting for food. In the winter, I seen a father with a bicycle, a little tow thing behind him coming a storm, blizzard. And his family was out of food. We didn't think anybody show up. He showed up, and he came to my door, and he said, "Are you open?" I said, "Yeah, I'm always open if you need food. I mean, we have it certain days, but we don't turn you away." Dude, my kids got nothing. I got nothing to feed my kids today. And I said, "You come down." We loaded him up and packed it all in for him. He fell on his knees and bawled like a baby. "Thank you." He said, "My kids will eat when I get home." That's the ministry. When Jesus talks about compassion, I know what that word means. That's a great question. Another question. Yeah. We have the social workers come in to work with them on getting jobs, getting places, but right now they're there a long time unless they have families because the rent's astronomical. Astronomical. I mean, we have families coming that are working when they come here. Got both husband and wife are working, and they jumped the rent. Someone said jumped it up $600,000 a month. So they're there putting money aside while they work so they can go again. But that's what we do. The state, that's it. We're not state run. We don't take stuff from the state, but they have state workers that work with these people. They're social workers. That answer your question? Yeah, that's what goes on. Yes. All over you know. No, it ended with COVID. I had to cancel my tours. I had a southern tour. I had 3 states to do. We canceled that, and then we started the streaming for the first time. And now, those same ones are watching me and commenting and sending money without me going there. Actually, all over the world, it's weird, the countries will come on and make comments. It's like, really? I just watched you, and yeah, so we've replaced my travel with media, social media. Bob, no, I'm not wearing a tie. You can't make me. I'll take my pants off, but I won't put a tie on. They're up. Yep. What's that, dear? I did that for the Rockefeller Center only. That was my last J.C. Penney. And actually, I only did that once. When the next time I went back, I wore this. I said, screw you. I'm coming as I am. And I still got money. I'm just not a J.C. Penney kind of guy. All those Armani suits out there said, I give up. I'm not going to try to keep up with you guys. Now, I had a $30 suit, and they had a $30,000 suit. You know, they didn't look any better than me. I looked really good in my J.C. Penney, baby. My wife told me I looked really good. Now, she lies to me to make me feel good, but she still said it. All right? I can count on her. These are great questions. I love them. Yes. 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 A lot. We get a ton. We get a lot. You know what the answer is? That's a simple. Jesus takes care of it. You'll hear them giving testimony how they're off the addictions after they find Jesus. That's just the truth. Sure. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, you're 100% right. You're right. And I'll tell you what, these people have been around enough, they know a con when they see it. They know if you're there because you want to tell people I passed out a track, or you're there because you just want to take care of them. They know that. It is, 100%. 100%. I've had people, I don't know how many come up and go, who are you guys anyway? So they do it. Then when we went to Portland, they go, you said you're from Skowhegan? I said, yeah, we was here last year. They weren't there at that time. They go, you're a church? I said, it's called Shelters by Jesus. Yes, I'm a church. You're a church from Skowhegan. You're here in Portland feeding us and told us. Yes. Well, how come nobody in Portland's doing this? I go, I don't control Portland. I can't answer for Portland. And should they be embarrassed? Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course they should be embarrassed. But that's not my place to talk for Portland or any other city. It's my place to go and tell everybody, get up and show some compassion, because I'm just repeating what Jesus said. It's not coming from me. It's coming from him. But you're 100% right. Actually, 1,000% right. Man, I've had some good comments and questions, Pastor. You must have primed them before I got here. Primed the pump a little bit, huh? So you look good, didn't you? I know you have to. Yeah. They're making you look good, bro. Bam. I haven't run into them. I've had tons of news stations come for interviews, and they didn't put on the things that I said. They did little pieces that they wanted. They did not. The quotes I put on there, like the town's line and here's why, and I give them all the examples. None of that ever hit the news. The only thing the news was the town has decided that they can't be there anymore. That was the last thing. So that's why I get calls. I saw it on the news. I said, I'm telling you right now, the stories of my demise are highly overstated. Don't believe what you hear. I said, watch my blurbs. I'm here every morning blurbing. You see the people. How can I do that if I was shut down? They're all here. They're giving testimonies. They're giving praise and prayer requests every morning. Just watch my blurbs. I am the blurbinator. You watch me. And I will be blocked. You had to watch Schwarzenegger. Anyway, any other comments, questions? I'm going to say criticisms. I get enough of that in Skowhegan. You can keep those. Anybody have anything else? If not, then beep, 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 beep. I'm all the other folks. You're welcome, God.